Yeah, very big welcome to you, my dear Libra. The sun is in Gemini, giving the light to the moon, which is in your sign. And of course, we see here the lovers, the duality uniting into the triangle that's pointing up. Or when I turn the card around, we see the heart shape that both of them create. The six major arcana. And of course, you, Justice, here, the 11th major arcana, you sitting between two pillars and scaling, right? Being just is a very difficult thing, particularly between duality, between two things that are so opposite that it's like, how can they even unite? It's kind of like incomprehensible for our mind. And nevertheless, that's the quest here, right? The work here is to always come and bring the energy together of the duality. Now, here the 6 and the 11 could be a date, the 6th of November or the 11th of June. Always see with the numbers, right? Numbers are very powerful and don't lie. And so I use them a lot. And of course, here we can see the message of you are uniting through Gemini, the lovers within you. Now, Gemini is ruled by Mercury, and Mercury in the tarot is the magician. Then you are ruled by Venus, and Venus in the tarot is the Empress. We're going to look at the Empress. And then, of course, we're going to look at the moon. What is the subconscious wanting to tell you? And we're also going to look at the sun. What is the sun wanting to tell you? How to put yourself out there into the world then as a realized personality. The yoga position for Gemini is King Pigeon Pose, Eka Pada Raja Kapodasana. Very difficult pose. We're reaching back to the feet. Here the body parts of Gemini are the arms, and it's really a big heart opener. That's where the love lies. And for you, I gave you between the two pillars, you standing on your tiptoes in a squat, being in your own equilibrium constantly with the Anjali Mudra or the Namaste in front of the heart, right? And the sword pointing at your third eye, knowing that in the third eye you're learning really to overcome the five senses. The lovers in your deck looks like this. This is Perseus and Andromeda. He saves her from being tied to this rock from the sea dragon or the sea snake. And it's that natural process that we have to learn to understand, is that she is getting saved by uniting with the masculine, by the sword, by this one clear thought that brings her into liberation, right? And so you can see that the message behind each card looks a little bit different, right? Particularly here with the masculine being dark, right? Usually it's the reverse, right? She is the dark, and that's why there is a black stone here. And here he is dark and she is light. So this is, of course, today the constellation, simply Sun in Gemini, and of course Moon in your sign. You as a Libra are the one that likes beauty very much, right? You thrive for that, and you are also connected with the 7th house of love and relationships. It's something that you are very much long for. Meanwhile, Gemini is, as an energy, the communication between two people, right? When we face the opposite, we actually look at ourselves. And Gemini is connected with the 3rd house of communication and interaction. How do we interact with others? Then you are the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords cuts off heads, right? And it's brutal what she does in a mental aspect. Is your birthday between September 12th and October 12th? Then is this your court card? And if not, please look in the description below. I have listed all the dates there, all the cards that I'm using, and of course their position and the meaning to it. Back to the last reading, because everything is cyclical. We have Taurus Sun giving Libra Moon a second time the light. So you got Taurus giving you the light twice, and the message was, between wanting and being rich lies your subconscious ocean. So yeah, we all want to be rich, but what does that mean is for a lot of people sometimes huge like an ocean. And it's important to understand that we need to awaken to our own power, and that being rich is not just like, oh, I have a lot of money. It means also taking responsibility of that kind of money, right? And it's sometimes then connected with a lot of negative people who just want your money, right? And so it's quite a message, right, that came to you through Taurus, because Taurus is the financial aspect of that richness the earth has, right? Taurus, the bull, he's the one that loves to eat. He desires many beautiful things, right? And so that came as a message to you. Taurus also is ruled by Venus, so you connect with Taurus quite well because you are also connected with Venus. Good, so we begin the reading. We begin with the Queen of Swords, and the Queen of Swords has here the Seven of Swords. And the Seven of Swords is connected with the constellation Moon in Aquarius. And when the Moon is in Aquarius, we maybe have deep subconscious desires to fight. But one sword is creating the peacefulness here with the red rose, and 6 swords point up, right? And so here the Seven of Swords looks kind of like a beautiful pattern. And of course, the 7 and the 7th house, or the 7th zodiac sign, creates here immediately a 7-7 portal. 2 times the 7 means that you become creative in the way you are seeing emotional intelligence that we need to get into a relationship, right? That when we bring our doubts and our not being self-worth issues into the relationships, it's not gonna really dissolve, right? Unless we dissolve that deep within ourselves. So maybe you need to cut your head off from not another person, but from yourself. Sometimes it's important to literally get away from all this thinking, from all this being like not decisive, being doubtful, being the victim, right? And then of course 2 times the 7 clearly brings you a portal here that's letting you know, become aware, just observe. Then comes here the Magician, right? The Magician, Mercury, is bringing you the drum, and the drum is the number 15, and in the tarot the 15 is connected with the Capricorn energy, the devil, the attachment. And so beating the drum sometimes means that you need to liberate yourself from what's happening here in the 7 of Swords, right? And of course, when we look at the 15, we get the Wheel of Fortune, and the 5, the Hierophant. And the Wheel of Fortune is spinning and turning, and everything is again and again being experienced and witnessed through the 5 senses, right? 5 is the Hierophant. 5 was also Taurus, right? And so the last reading, between wanting and being rich lies your subconscious ocean. And so the message from the Magician is literally, recognize then, when we calculate together the 6, recognize that the Lovers is the union of dark and light, is the union between masculine and feminine, and then the 1 and the 15 is the 16. Then things might fall apart, but maybe it's good that it's falling apart because the 7 is left. And then you have 7, 7, 7, 3 times the 7, and 3 times the 7 is letting you know you are understanding very clearly that the power lies in the emotional intelligence. And that's where the message is from Mercury, right? Mercury through the Magician is letting you know, unite the 5 senses and know that it's constantly spinning and turning. So I wanted to see what message the drum is bringing, and it's bringing you the 2 of discs. And the 2 of discs is Jupiter in Capricorn. So the 15, we have the Capricorn, we have the Devil, we have the attachment to money, and because it's reversed, she's holding twins. And you can see the snake here uniting the tail and the mouth and going through these 2 wheels. And when it's reversed, it's kind of like saying, well, there is something that is not bringing you the financial security or gain that you need to play. You need to play with this world, right? Because the 15 and the 2 is the 17, which is the star in the tarot, Aquarius. And Aquarius is here with Moon in Aquarius with the 7 of Swords. So then the 17 turns into an 8. Plus, of course, always the 1, the Magician, right? Then we have a 9. And the 9 is a completion. The 9 is saying, well, then I understand. So, of course, we can also calculate the 15, and the 2 is the 17, plus the 1 is the 18. The subconscious, the Moon, is letting you know you need to check what's going on here. Why are you not giving yourself the trust that life needs to expand and needs to contract, constantly giving and taking? That's what the 2 is, the duality in the material world, but it's reverse. Then I wanted to see what is Gemini bringing you from his deck here, the Lightseer Tarot, and it's the Queen of Swords. Now the Queen of Swords is you. You are looking at the drum. You need to beat the drum so that this is changing, so that you are not thinking that you cannot have enough. And so this is again a 7 and a 7. And we had the 7 here with the Magician. See that the Magician beats the drum. And when he beats the drum, then he can go into a higher consciousness, which is Aquarius, the 17. And plus the 1 of the Magician, we get the 18. Then in your subconscious, you know what you need to do to get rid of this kind of belief system that you may be not worthy enough to make all that money, to be rich, and to also be able to handle it, right? So she's looking at it and she's literally thinking, okay, what I'm gonna have to do so that I can really be successful. Now you see we're going to the left, and the left means that we're going to the new moon, that we're going introverted, and that we're learning from deep within, what is it that is blocking me? What is it that makes me fight or be doubtful, right? Or be the victim in a situation. And so she is coming up and letting you know, you gotta drum, right? You gotta beat the drum and change something in your way of seeing life. Then we look at the Empress. The Empress is bringing you the Chariot. So again, you have a 7. The 7 is literally speaking to you. Bring a strong emotional intelligence to the game, to your life. And of course, this is the original emotional intelligence. We are able to be successful when we understand what the emotional intelligence bringing to us. And the success is always here in the third eye, in the knowing that you are the 7th chakra. You are the crown chakra. It's pointing up, right? All the swords are pointing up. And I wanted to see what is coming here, and the Chariot is bringing you the 5 of Pentacles. Now, the 5 of Pentacles is connected with Mercury in Taurus, and Mercury in Taurus is like something needs to end in the way you see your self-worth, right? She's baking bread, she has barely just what she needs, and the 5 and the 2 of Pentacles are again 7 Pentacles. So have an emotional intelligence in understanding that both of them are reversed. Both of them are literally saying, well, you gotta figure this out. You gotta look at why is here the 2 of Pentacles coming reverse, and why is the 5 of Pentacles coming reverse. And these cards are very specific, right? We have a meaning for the when the card is to the right, when the card is to the left, or up or down. The 2 of discs down is she doesn't want to have a very complicated life now. She wants simplicity and finds it hard to juggle 2 or more responsibilities, obligations, or activities in her life. She may want space or freedom from responsibility now. Right? So here we can understand that here she nurses twins, and it's a lot of responsibility to take care of 2 children at the same time, right? And so here you are not wanting to take more responsibility. Then the 5 of Pentacles is saying she isn't consumed by the obstacles in her life. She creates alternatives and other options for herself. She's discovered new ways of taking care of herself. And so it's really beautiful, because a woman needing dough to make bread, and it's a very simple activity. And in this activity you can see that here you don't want to take more responsibility on, and this is just enough to make bread, and you love the simple life, right? And so the 7 is appearing here, and the 7 is letting you know, well, the 7 is here, the 7, the Chariot, the 7 of Swords, and we also had then, of course, here the Magician and the Drum, the 16, which was also a 7, right? And you came up as the 7th Zodiac sign, and so you are realizing something very profound here, right? That you are done maybe with too much responsibility. It's almost like there is something now in the simplicity of taking care of your life, in just making bread, is what excites you, what makes you happy. And I wanted to see, of course, what is your deck bringing, and it's the Star. And we had the Star here with the 15 and the 2 of Pentacles. So you're beating the drum, and you don't want to take more responsibility than you already have, and that's okay, but somehow it's over. And the 17, again, of course, the 7 is in there as well, right? And the Wheel of Fortune, the emotional intelligence to know that everything is spinning and turning. And so the 17 and the 5 is actually the 22, and the 22 is the Fool, is that crazy idea that you are now, just by baking a beautiful bread, are a star. And it is like that, right? We have a baker here in town who is actually opening only 3 days a week, but his bread is so exceptional, it's so amazing, people stand in line, and he's a star. He's literally like, he's a star in town, and that's the message, right? And the 22 is a message here with the 11. That's a message as well, 11 and 22. The 22 is now you have realized something beyond the 11. The 11 is the inner teacher. Now the 22 is that creativity that comes out of that. And Aquarius, of course, is talking because we had here Moon in Aquarius. And so Aquarius is letting you know something, because Aquarius is the King of Swords and you are the Queen of Swords. And so we have the 11 here, or we have, of course, the 22, but I could also calculate here the 8 and the 5 which is, of course, the 13. And the 13 is the transformation that you're going through. So then the 13 turns into a 4. Then you can lead, right? So you can choose, you want a 4 or you want the 22. Very beautiful message, right? Already you understand something very powerful is talking here to you. Then we look at the moon. The moon is bringing you here the 33. Now you have the 11, you have the 22, and now you have the 33. You have the most important stages in the secret brotherhoods of the tarot, which is the 11, the emotional intelligence, the 22, the creativity that is infinitely replicating and being creative, and the 33, which is the 33 vertebrae in our spine, which is Jesus Christ that died on the cross, and the 33 is the last stage of consciousness that we can achieve. The 33, you can see, is bringing you here the joyful news, the inspiration, to become an inspiration, right? To get beyond all that you have ever dreamed of is here at the heart of your subconscious, right? The moon is letting you know, have a look in your subconscious. You are deep within you that kind of inspiration, that kind of joyful news. And I wanted to see what is the Mother Peace Tarot bringing, and it's the Emperor. Now what's really striking here is that the 4 is appearing, which happened here between the 17 and the 5, right? When we calculated the 8 and the 5 together, we got the 13, and the 13 turned into a 4. And the 4 is the Emperor. And the Emperor sometimes is like Aries, quite intense, right? And here it's Alexander the Great, and he's quite, thinking about his next move. And he's looking to the left. And when we see a person looking to the left, like here, you are looking to the right. So if I put these two together, they would have a conversation, right? If it's like this, it wouldn't be a conversation. And in a way, it's like this. It's almost like you are past that because we're reading to the left and this card came first. So they're back to back. She's looking out and he's looking to the left. Now, that's when you look at the card, when you become the card and I place it on my chest, I see that she's looking to the left, right? And he, when I place him on me, I see he's looking to the right. So observe what the message is here through the Emperor, through his kind of leading role as a 4, as the 4 elements, right? And the 4 always is difficult because the 4 is kind of, that's where we get stuck in, right? In the 4, the squareness, right? But we need to stay round, we need to stay circular, right? And then I wanted to see, of course, what is bringing your deck here, because the moon is in your sign, and we get the 5 of swords. Now, the 5 and the 7 swords are 12 swords, and 12 is, of course, Pisces, and Pisces is the moon. And so in your subconscious, you understand you cannot fight, you cannot be the victim anymore. You need to liberate, you need to go into an inversion, the Hanged Man, and the Hanged Man then turns into the 3, the Empress, and only the feminine can conquer the masculine, the patriarch, right? And the matriarch is important. So the 3 is left of the swords, right? But here you have 5 more swords, and 5 swords is connected with Venus in Aquarius. So here you had Moon in Aquarius, and now you have Venus in Aquarius, and Venus is ruling you, right? And then the 12 and the 3 is left. And so observe and watch and see that the 4 and the 5 is a 9, and so there is a 9, a completion with the 33, right? Observe that you're not getting stuck in the 4, that you have here 2 and 2, and in the center again that 1 sword. But you see that the petals are now dispersed. There's no flower of 5 petals, right? And so learn that the completion is talking here to you. But the 33 is that you are this inspiration, and you always get challenged. You will get challenged no matter how inspirational of a muse you are. The five senses, this dimension, will always challenge us. And then the last group here is the sun. The sun here, the personality that you want to be in the world, brings you the 9. And the 9 is what came here, right, with the 5 of Swords and the Emperor. And the Emperor is that kind of like, I am fighting. Now, what's really powerful here is the Aries energy gives you the light for your full moon. Aries is your opposite sign, is always challenging you. It's the biggest challenge, and so you need to come into the 9. And when you let yourself be challenged, then you can really be a muse, an amazing inspiration for the people. And so the 9 is saying, break free, like use your true power, like a volcano, access, right, what the sun is bringing to you, because the sun is that personality, is that fire, is that spark that is shining a light onto all of us. And I wanted to see what is coming, and the 8 of Wands are coming facing the left. And facing the left means that you are actively going deep within to your new moon. But you see how the errors are going down, right? If I go like this, then you see that the errors will go to the left. But if I put the deck to me, I will see that the errors go to the right. So always remember that. And here the errors go down. It's almost like you are bringing the volcano down. 9 and the 8 is the 17, and the 17 was the star. And of course the sun is a dwarf star. And so the 17 turns here into an 8. Then I wanted to see what is Gemini saying, and the 3 of Cups are coming here. And the 3 of Cups is then Mercury in Cancer. You had Cancer, right? Letting you know the emotional intelligence is important. Becoming a star is important. And now you have Mercury in Cancer. Celebrate, enjoy, because the 8 of Wands is Mercury in Sagittarius. And Sagittarius is like a volcano, is that burning fire to express yourself and then enjoy with good friends a moment of clarity, a moment of looking up into the sky and seeing the stars, right? And so the 8 and the 3 is an 11. And so there's a 9-11 or 11-9. Again, a date. And you see that the 8 is connecting here with the 8 of the Aquarius, the star. You see that the energy comes down, the star is coming down, the fire is coming down, and then you can celebrate, then you can enjoy this moment, the 11 and the 9, right? This message is really clear, the 9-11, 11-9, right? So enjoy and see that something is talking, and that you don't need to feel that you are a victim, that you are here with the 7, right, of Swords, and here the 5 of Swords. You don't need to suffer anymore, right? Liberate yourself, do inversions, and then the Empress is coming out of you, which is what you are, because Venus is the Empress, right? Which is, then you can beat the drum and you can tell the people, yes, I am maybe in this situation, but I also know that the simplicity, just baking bread, is something so amazing and so beautiful, and I can do it. And so the message is clear. Just see the simplicity of life and everything will make sense to you. So I hope I see you in the next reading. Cancer is here. Next reading, Sun will be in Cancer. The emotional intelligence will speak to you. Until then, I thank you so much for being with me. Namaste.